I've been documenting my quest to find the best low-risk passive income during the bear market. And so far, I've uncovered ways to make 20% to as high as 51% per year, all with what I consider super safe and low-risk strategies. But today, I'm making some massive changes to my portfolio and the way that I run these experiments moving forward, getting rid of some experiments and adding in some new ones. And today, I'll talk about what experiments I'm getting rid of, why I'm making these big changes, showcase a brand new experiment that I'm adding to this list, and of course share how much I made from these experiments over the last month. It's been 4 months since starting my low-risk passive income experiments, and since then I've tested a variety of different low-risk ways to make passive income during the bear market. And to date, during all the turbulent ups and downs during the bear market, not one of these experiments has experienced a loss. My goal has always been to safely take my capital, put it to work, and have it produce at least something rather than just sitting in stablecoins in my wallet and doing nothing. However, since starting this whole thing, I've vastly expanded the amount of experiments that I'm doing, and I've started to test some more risky experiments or some ones that are definitely not nearly as safe and definitely not protecting my capital as much. At a certain point, I grew enough confidence in the market to start testing out maybe a little bit riskier things just to kind of test the waters and see what was out there as far as passive income opportunities. And so with these changes and all these additional experiments, I've decided to kind of restructure my original experiment with all of this kind of in mind. With the biggest change being that my low-risk experiment set is now going to be stablecoin only strategies. The idea is to find all the ways that I can use stablecoins to make passive income or farm mass amounts of tokens before the next bull run. With these strategies, my capital is always safe in stables and not exposed to any volatility risk. I'm still going to be experimenting with all kinds of other crazy ways to produce passive income, including bots, staking, yield farming, arbitrage, etc. It's just that the original experiment set will be limited to stablecoin only strategies. With that being said, here's the strategies that made the cut, how much I made with each strategy for this month, as well as a new experiment that potentially allows me to make up to 21% holding only USDC. First up is Unknown. Unknown was previously a part of a different kind of set of experiments that I was doing, but got moved over to this list because it's a stable only strategy and it fits better in this list. This strategy involves me taking USDC and USD Plus and forming a liquidity pair on Cone, and then taking that liquidity and depositing it into Unknown for an increased yield. And the way that this strategy works is you're essentially lending Cone your liquidity, which is valuable to them, and you're lending Unknown your voting power, which is valuable to them. And on top of that yield, because half your liquidity is in USD Plus, you're earning a yield from your USD Plus as well. I deposited $10,335 into Unknown, and month 1 of using Unknown was pretty disappointing. I only made $3 in rewards, and I made around $71 from my USD Plus liquidity, for a total of $74 or 8.7% annually. So for this strategy currently, I'm looking at it as more of a farming play. I was able to accumulate 21,000 Cone tokens and 19,000 Unknown tokens. Both are extremely tiny projects, and I have no idea if they'll be worth anything in the future, and really at the end of the day, I don't really care if they will or won't be, because I'm not actually investing into any of these tokens. I'm not buying any of these tokens on the open market. I'm just taking my stable coins, putting them down as capital, and letting them farm these tokens in the meantime. And if they go up in value, that's great. That's a great win for me. If they don't, well, I didn't lose any of my money because my money is staying in stables and it's not exposed to the volatility of these tokens. Unfortunately, this experiment hasn't quite finished out the month, so I don't have any results currently to share. I will say, however, there are some potential issues brewing with this strategy relating to the USD Plus on Binance, which I'll talk about later in this video. Second up is Grizzly.fi. This experiment got added to the list last month, and month 1, it did absolutely insane. It was able to pull in 4.5% for the month, which is around 54% compounded annually. And the reason that's crazy is because, again, it involves me only holding stablecoins. In this case, it involves me holding USDC and USDT, which are deposited onto PancakeSwap as liquidity. Now, there's basically 3 ways to do this strategy, and it has to do with the rewards you choose to get paid out in. The first way involves you only getting paid out in stablecoins, and that results in the lowest yield, but obviously the rewards are the highest quality because you're getting paid out in stablecoins. Then on the opposite end of the spectrum, you could choose a strategy where you're purely paid out in the platform's reward token, G-Honey. G-Honey is a very volatile token, meaning your reward value could go up and down over the month. And then right in the middle is like a hybrid strategy where you get paid out partially in stablecoins and partially in the reward token. I opted to test out getting paid 100% in the platform's reward token, G-Honey. I deposited $5,387 into the USDC, USDT stable hive on Grizzly.fi, and after my first month, I made $247.13 or 54% annually. And after my second month, I made $120 or 32% annually, which means my average yield over the past 2 months using this strategy has been 43%. You get the average by you take month 1 and month 2, you add them together, you divide by 2, and that gives you your average APY. And again, I was able to get that yield only holding stablecoins, meaning regardless of what happens with the platform token, my initial capital doesn't go up and down in value. It's worth the same exact amount as it was 2 months ago when I first started this strategy. Only now I also have these reward tokens that I get each month, which I can either hold on to those if I think maybe the platform's token in the future could go up in value. I can sell those and capture that profit every single month, or I can take those reward tokens and stake them, trying to earn more reward tokens. And that in general is the point of all these strategies. I'm taking my stablecoins and using them to get free stuff. And the main risk with all these different strategies is that there ends up being some sort of contract bug. This is essentially a risk that every single DeFi platform out there carries. If you're interested in checking out this strategy, there's an affiliate link in the description. And I have some other awesome stablecoin only strategies coming up, including a brand new one that claims I could make up to 21% annually holding only USDC. But really quickly, before I share those, I wanted to highlight some of the projects that I'm getting rid of from this list. First up is the Matic ETS strategy. This has been an awesome strategy. I've made a lot of money from it. It's been nothing but great, but it's not a stablecoin only strategy. So unfortunately, I'm removing it from this list and moving it to a different experiment set. Second up is USD Plus on Polygon, and this is another one that's been great. It's done awesome. It actually is a stablecoin only strategy, but I've also been testing another version of USD Plus on Binance, and that one has performed so far a bit better than the Matic version of USD Plus. And because the Binance version had performed better, I switched my stables over to the Binance USD Plus. However, that may have been a massive mistake, as you'll soon hear later in the video. And third up is the Ghost Tiger strategy. Although this is one of my favorite strategies and it's still absolutely crushing it, it is not a stable only strategy. So moving forward, I'll be removing it from this list and moving it to another batch of experiments. But like I said, the strategy is still doing great, it's still crushing it, and I'll still be updating on how the strategy progresses as time goes on. All right, moving on to the next stablecoin only strategy. Next up is USD Plus Binance version. USD Plus is a strategy that I've been doing for 3 months now, and so far it's performed great. I've been testing the Binance version of USD Plus for a month now, and it's been incredible as well. This is basically a really easy way to put your stablecoins to work. I deposited $5,543 into this strategy, and month 1 I made $46.19, or about 10.3% annually. Unfortunately, recently USD Plus, what I considered one of my safest plays, experienced an issue where a third-party platform accidentally locked their stables up for 10 years. They're saying they'll be reimbursing all the lost funds. They're proposing doing this via airdropping their own unreleased OBN token to users and requiring those tokens to be vested for 30 months rather than paying back in stables, which I'm disappointed by, and if true, means this strategy will officially no longer fit in my low risk strategies. I'll be updating next time I do a video. Next up is Penrose. Penrose is an identical strategy to Unknown, but instead on the Polygon network. I've been running this experiment for 4 months and so far gotten some decent results. I originally invested $18,691 into this strategy. In month 4, I made $72 in rewards and $44 in liquidity appreciation via USD Plus, for a total of $116 in profit or 8% APY. And I've decided to reduce this position down to $10,505 moving forward, as I'm taking that money to deploy it elsewhere to test out some new strategies. In fact, currently, as of right now, I have over 20 different strategies that I'm testing out and a long list of new strategies that I'm planning on getting into. Last up is a brand new strategy, and that's Ribbon Finance's R-Earn strategy. This is a strategy that again involves depositing USDC, but this time into Ribbon Finance's R-Earn vault. They claim to provide a 21% APY currently, although that number does fluctuate month to month as far as I've seen. That's pretty astounding considering this strategy isn't paying you out in a reward token, but it's paying you out in USDC. So how does it work? This is a smart money strategy that involves some complicated stuff. Basically, this is a strategy that involves credit lending, market makers, barrier calls and puts, and a lot of complex math. For those interested in really understanding how the strategy works though, the risks and explanation of how the strategy works are laid out on the website for anyone to read. I started this strategy 11 days ago, and so far it's done nothing. Due to how this strategy works, they only deploy capital during certain time periods. I have 3 days left till my capital is deployed, but I'll update once it finishes its results. So that's it, and I know this update has been a little bit messy and maybe not quite as exciting as normal, and that's kind of what you get when you don't cherry pick results, when you just kind of share it as it is. Sometimes it's boring, and sometimes you have months where not a lot of crazy stuff happens and you get these kind of lackluster, normal, boring results. And that's kind of the trade-off with me experimenting with so many strategies is, yes, occasionally I will come across that gem, that 1 out of 100 strategy that's absolutely crushing it. But in order to find that 1 out of 100 strategy, I have to go through 99 other strategies that are maybe doing poorly or doing okay or just doing average along the way. As always, none of this is investment advice. None of these are recommendations. None of these are meant to sway you to invest in these strategies or to try these strategies out. Blindly copying me without knowing what you're doing would be a very quick way to lose all of your money. Investing is really, really hard. And if you're not doing your research and you're not putting in the work and you don't understand what you're doing, even if you get lucky in the beginning, eventually you will pay the price for not doing the work. As always, if this video is helpful, make sure to hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments or anything you want me to try, anything you want me to add to my experiment list, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button and also make sure to hit the little bell next to it if you want to be notified each time I release a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.